Hey and welcome back, and this is part 2 of how to play Oversoul. In this video, I'll be going over the map and the different phases of the game, along with how to win and maybe some tips to help you guys out. This here is sort of a representation of what the game mat looks like. Over here you have your deck. Your deck is placed here at the beginning of your game face down. Over here is the battlefield. Souls are summoned to the battlefield refreshed. This is the spell zone. When you activate a spell, you must place it in the spell zone. Over here is the graveyard. When a card has been used or destroyed, it is sent to the graveyard face up. This is the soul gauge. This is where cards are placed to exhaust to pay for summoning, activating cards, and abilities. And over here is the damage zone. Any card revealed during your trigger check is sent to the damage zone. When starting a game of Oversoul, both players shuffle their decks. Then, they place it face down in the deck zone. Next, they draw 6 cards. Once both players have drawn their 6 cards, they decide on a method of who goes first. The turn is split up into 6 different phases. These phases are the refresh phase. At the start of your turn, any cards that are exhausted are refreshed. The draw phase. This is when you draw the top card of your deck. The person who takes the first turn of the game is allowed to draw. Next is the charge phase. This is where you can choose to take a card from your hand and put it into your soul gauge. Next is your main phase. During the main phase, you are able to summon souls and activate spells or abilities, unless an ability says otherwise. Summoning souls. When summoning a soul, you must exhaust cards in the soul gauge equal to the soul's level, and at least one of the cards must share the same element with that soul. Souls cannot attack on the turn they were summoned. When activating a spell, you must have at least the same number of cards in your soul gauge as that card's level. Also, at least one of the cards in your soul gauge must have a matching element. When you activate a spell, you must place it in the spell zone. Players are only allowed a max of 5 spells in their spell zone. If there are 5 spells in a player's spell zone, then that player cannot activate any more spells. At the end of the turn, a player must send all spells in their spell zone to the graveyard. When a spell that was activated is nullified, it is still sent to the spell zone until the end of turn. Spells and abilities can only be activated on a player's turn and only in their main phase unless it has the quick ability icon. There are some things you will need to know about spells and abilities. If a spell or ability were to reduce a soul's power and that soul's power is reduced to 0, then the soul is destroyed and must be sent to the graveyard. If a soul's ability activates while it is attacking, the ability activates before the actual attack, right after exhausting to attack. After the ability has been nullified/resolved, the attack then continues. A spell or ability cannot be nullified if they were activated as triggers. Some spells will have the trait Blessing. Spells with this trait stay in the spell zone and do not go to the graveyard at the end of the turn. You are only allowed to have one blessing of the same name in your spell zone, so if I had another fire charger, I wouldn't be able to play it because I already have one out there. Battle phase. During the battle phase, you can choose to attack with your souls, unless an ability says otherwise. Attacking is the key way to destroy your opponent's souls and deal damage. When you are attacking, you must choose a target for your attack. Souls can only attack other exhausted souls your opponent controls or your opponent. Each soul must attack one at a time, not all at once. When attacking, exhaust the attacking soul to indicate that it is attacking. If you choose to attack your opponent, then your opponent takes damage equal to how many hit icons the attacking soul has. If you choose to attack your opponent's soul, then your attacking soul enters a battle with your opponent's defending soul. When 2 souls battle, the outcome is determined on the soul's power. When souls battle, if the attacking soul has more power than the defending soul is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. If the defending soul has more power than the attacking soul is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. If both souls have equal power, they are both destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Things to know when attacking. When a soul attacks and is exhausted, if a spell or ability is activated that causes the target of the attack to refresh while you are still in your battle phase, then the attacking soul cannot change its target and stays exhausted. If a soul's ability activates while it is attacking, the ability activates before the actual attack, right after exhausting to attack. After the ability has been nullified/resolved, The attack then continues. Souls cannot attack on the turn they were summoned. Souls can only be attacked if they are exhausted. When taking damage, reveal the number of cards from the top of your deck equal to how many hit the attacking soul has. If the attacking soul has more than one hit, reveal them one at a time. This is called trigger check. Send the revealed cards to your damage zone. If the revealed cards have a soul trigger or spell trigger icon, two different things happen depending on the trigger. There are two different types of triggers in the game Oversoul. The first are soul triggers. Soul triggers are souls with the soul trigger ability. If a soul trigger is revealed during a trigger check, the soul is summoned to the field without paying its cost instead of sending it to the damage zone. The next are spell triggers. Spell triggers are spells that have the spell trigger ability. If a spell trigger is revealed during a trigger check, you may activate the ability before sending it to the damage zone. When activating spells, you may do as much as you can on the card. In the case of Mangogo Passion, if you were to play Mangogo Passion from your hand or get it during a trigger check, if you have no souls on your field, you could still use its second ability to draw one card. If you were to take more than one damage, and the ability of a trigger activates, if that ability triggers another ability of a soul you control, you must resolve that soul's ability before checking for the next damage. Reducing damage. When a player takes damage, they can discard cards from their hand to reduce the damage they take. The damage is reduced by 1 for each card they discard, and any excess damage a player decides not to reduce is added to their damage zone. When a player has 7 cards in their damage zone, they lose the game. Also, when a player wants to reduce damage, they must let their opponent know before doing so. Things to know about damage. Cards in the damage zone can be used to help pay for cards in your hand or for abilities by flipping them face down. The element of cards in the damage zone are changed to neutral, which means you cannot use only your damage zone to pay for cards unless its element is neutral. So since I have 4 cards in my soul gauge, and my flame winged dragon is level 6, I can exhaust 4 cards, then flip over 2 cards in my damage zone, and then play it. When a card in your damage zone is flipped face down, it stays that way and cannot be used for the rest of the game unless an ability allows you to flip the card over. End phase. During the end phase, spells and abilities cannot be activated unless a spell or ability says otherwise. All spells that do not have the blessing trait are sent from the spell zone to the graveyard. Then, you end your turn. Well, this is the end of the video. Hopefully the game was easy to understand, and thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a nice day, and if you look in the description, you can find a link to my Discord server where you could buy both starter decks, Burning Power and Force of Nature. If you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.